My name is Yemi Kings. My birth name is Femi Yemi. I'm the second born of a family of four. I studied psychology at the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University, and I came into photography in my final years on campus. Photography for me has been a way of expressing myself, and I came to Lagos about 3-4 years ago. We run a luxury photography company, and by the special grace of God, we've been able to shoot people across boards. I mean, we shoot monarchs, top of industry members, we shoot basically people who can afford our luxury services. And apart from that, we also train young up and coming photographers. And it's been good. We are known to be one of the most sought after photography companies in Lagos as of today, but we didn't always start that way. At a point in time in my life, I was very distracted by my talent, and I couldn't really pick one thing. So it was as if I was just spraying energy in different places. So I couldn't really gather things to become one thing. And by God's grace, I had a mentor then who was teaching me photography, Mr. Kunle Akintayo Full House. And I was late to the studio one day, and he called me and he said, all these things I'm doing, that how do I see them lining up in my future? And he was the one that made me realize that I should pack all my energy into a laser beam and just focus on one thing. And I'd done a lot. I'd danced, MC'd, I'd done theater, I've done music. So for me, I think photography was the newest thing in my hands then. So I felt like, okay, you know what? All these other things, been there, done that. This photography thing, let's give it all this attention. And it was supposed to be something I'll do for a while and then move on to the next thing. But we are still here. So I think I was able to pick photography because it was the newest talent I'd just discovered, and then it was interesting for me at the time. So I think naturally I just evolved into focusing on photography, and as I focused more on it, I got better at it, and I'm still getting better. So we're still there. I came into this industry having no idea what I really wanted to do, but I learned early to understand that whatever you want to do in life, just be very excellent at it. So I didn't strive to be who I am today by saying, I must become this. I just wanted to get better each day. I just wanted to get better. I was in constant competition with myself. And so I started in my extra year because I had an extra semester, and it was a second semester course. So I was like, I have the whole semester to myself. What am I going to do? And my fiance then, who's my wife now, said, let's just focus more on this photography thing. And I started doing it. But I've always learned to learn from the best everywhere I get to. Whatever it is I'm doing, I'm always looking for, who's the best at this? Is this the best I can do? So when I was going to start photography, I asked people around that I know that were already doing photography at the time, that who's the best photographer in Ife? And they said, Full House is the best photographer. And I said, that Full House is the person I'm going to learn from. Because I know to be the best, you have to learn or compete with the best. So that's how I started. And then by the time I was getting comfortable in Ife, and people were already, whispers of saying, you're the best guy around. I'm like, there's still more to do. And it was the advent of Instagram. I would go online and I'll see these amazing photographs that I knew I was no way in their league. And I started asking questions that, Who's this guy? That's Emmanuel Leke. Who's this person? That's Kelechi Amadi. Who's this person? That's T.Y. Bello. Where did they stay? Lagos. This is Lagos. I said, okay, if all these guys are in Lagos, I don't know if it's the air in Lagos, or it's the water in Lagos, or it's the traffic in Lagos, whatever it is that is in this Lagos that is making these guys churn out these amazing images, I also want to be in that Lagos. But I've also understood that, look, you don't just go to places because you desire to go there. I understand that purpose is in question. We understand that there has to be permission from God to make destiny moves like that. So I've always wanted to come to Lagos as a child. I've always, watched my father's television, and I see all these amazing things happening in the entertainment industry, and I've always wanted to be a part of that. And everything is happening in Lagos. Nothing was happening in Osogbo, where I lived. Nothing was happening in Ife. So I had to check myself to be sure that it's not just that desire of Lagos that is pulling me here. And as God would have it, He told me that desire to come to Lagos, He put it there. So that was the permission I needed. And then I came to Lagos. Coming to Lagos, for me, I started asking the questions again. Who are the best people in Lagos? And, I prayed towards it. And then one by one, God started giving me access to these people. Lines started falling in place. One thing led to the other. Oh, I met T.Y. Bello today. I met Kelechi Amadi tomorrow. I met Shewa Kisomi first. And then I started meeting these people that, in their own ways, impacted my business, my work, my life, and my artistry, and started growing from there and learning from other creatives in the industry and outside of the country as well. And we are here today. I've never failed at anything in my life. I'm a perfect human being. I have failed severally. I mean, I've had bad days. I've had, days where I question my own intelligence. I've had days where I'm like, how do I say this? I've had days when I would deliver my best to a client and they'll be like, Yemi, what you did was absolute rubbish. And I've had days when I didn't feel like I did anything, and the client will be like, Yemi Kings, you are the best thing that happened after sliced bread. And, these things happen. And there are days when we submit proposals, we get rejected. There are days where we are begged to come to places that we've knocked, and they've sent us away. So I think God just has a way of balancing everything and reminding us that you're still human. I'm just using you. There are times when I've decided that, this shoot, I kill it. I'll shoot them that Yemi Kings is not snapping them. I'll get there, mess up. Big mess up. From somebody forgetting to pack battery for one light, to memory card missing, to one thing happening, to the whole shoot just not making sense. And, there are times we even had to do reshoots for clients just so that they can be happy. There are times we've had to refund clients. And there are times that we've had clients that will pay us extra money to say, oh, I'm happy with the job that you did for me. And, so I've failed, and I've learned to understand that, look, failure is not no. Failure is just do it again until you get it. Keep doing it again. But I'm used to failure, do you understand? I did pre-degree twice in Ife. I had 2 extra years. By the time I was still in school, I had my mates that we did matric together coming back for masters. So that's a whole lot of stuff, So failure is a part of life. It's a part of growth. And I think I want to say I've mastered failure. Because sometimes when I fail, I rejoice. We must learn to embrace failure. I've learned to embrace failure. But don't just embrace it alone. Study it and understand, how did I get here? And what am I supposed to learn from this? And then we move. I think what fascinates me the most about my craft, photography, is the fact that I can take what the regular human eyes see as ordinary and I kind of bring out the extraordinary in it, and everybody goes, wow, we never saw it that way. I mean, I am able to show people that nothing is really ordinary. I'm able to show people with my work that nobody's ugly. I'm able to spark conversations with my work. I mean, I have a piece of art that I just sold in my latest exhibition, and it's of a very, very white albino lady. And the title of the piece is Alawo Dudu. Two pieces. One is Alawo Fufu, and the second one, the same image, the title is Alawo Dudu. And then a person asked me that this is supposed to also be Alawo Fufu. And I'm saying, no, this is Alawo Dudu because she's black, even though she looks white. So it's a call for us to remember our identity, no matter what our skin tells people. So these are subtle conversations that I'm able to create with my work, and that fascinates me every day. I mean, how I can take somebody that people don't regard as beautiful and then take that and make something beautiful out of it. I mean, telling you that you are beautiful, even when you don't think so, and showing you, and then the whole world will now come and witness and say, you're my fine girl, and you're like, I am beautiful. That does something in the destiny, and I'm glad to be a part of that. I think what has helped me stay relevant is the grace of God. I mean, in an industry as saturated as ours, where almost every graduate now wants to drop their certificate and pick up a camera, I mean, I think it's just the grace of God that has given me that edge. Most of the times, I don't know what I'm doing. And I tell people that I'm not that smart, neither is it that I'm that hardworking. I'm one of the laziest people you can meet in life. But when it comes to my work, I've also learned the place of playing my part in being diligent, in being consistent. But still, I'm not the most diligent, neither am I the most consistent person. This, ask my wife. So, I mean, I try to be as excellent as I can. I try to push myself to learning new things. I try to always infuse some different flows into my work once in a while. But like I said, the basic answer to that question is one is the grace of God, and then all these little extra things that I do. And you know, I try to remain myself. So you know me, people know what I look like, they know what I sound like. So I don't speak to my clients like somebody that I'm not. Once in a while we try and form tush for the gram. But basically, it's about staying true to yourself, understanding that we are who we are solely by the grace of God. And then I play my part and I try my best to, you know, be better than I was yesterday. I do my shoots, I play, you know, take risks. Whichever works fine. Whichever doesn't work, we trash it. And, you know, and by the time I'm about to retouch my images, I invite Jesus Christ to come and do it for me. Because that's what I tell people. When they're like, Yemi, how do you do these things that it comes? I said, look, 90% of the time, I don't know what I'm doing, right? But I know that there is a savior in my boat that will not let me sink. And I know that there is this guy in my wedding that will not make me run out of wine. And basically, that's the secret. I tell people sometimes they feel like, oh, I'm just trying to sound religious. It's just my reality. I do my work and I'm like, Jesus, let this shoot come and work. If it doesn't, then it's not your will. But then most of the time that I submit my work to the Holy Spirit, it just comes and breathes on it. That's why I say it's just the grace of God. One of the biggest challenges that I'm facing is that we still have a lot of work to do in getting our people to appreciate photography, and not just photography, getting them to appreciate art. And I mean, this past few weeks have been exposed to a group of individuals that really, really value art. And that has made me happier than I've ever been in my 9 years of doing this. I mean, I've seen people that valued my work more than I do. And they were ready to pay so much more than I was asking. And I'm like, so these people exist. But then I also saw a similar trait in all of them, which is the fact that almost all of them, if not all of them, have international exposure. And that's where they learned to value art. And that's why they could value my art here in Nigeria. Nigerians don't really value art as much. That's why when they call you and you say, oh, this is how much I charge you, so I'm like, so for some I try to educate them, for some I'm just like, you know what, sayonara. And that's one of the challenges that I face personally. And another challenge that I also face is me trying to sometimes I find myself distracted, and I just want to focus on this photography and balancing life, balancing work, balancing family, being a husband, being a father. I was doing photography for so long before I got married, and I had to start learning to say, look, guy, you're no longer a bachelor. You have a wife now, you have a kid at home. You can't just walk around the clock as you used to. So that was really, really, really challenging. I mean, learning to even understand that my house is no longer a boys' hostel. And now I have a woman living in the house. And it's not as benign as I make it seem. It really is a big deal. I think the top reason where my brand is where it is today is one, the grace of God. It's not like I had the best education or I come from the best families or I had the best exposure. As of now, I've never been outside the shores of this nation, thanks to Instagram and Google. Knowing what I want also played a huge role in it. Knowing the kind of person I want to be, knowing the kind of artist I want to be, and I had to settle that with God initially, saying, look, this is the kind of life I want to live, this is the kind of family I want to have. So with every photograph that I take, there is always some intentionality behind it, because I know that, look, by the time I'm long dead and gone and you collate all the images I've ever shot, it has to have a message. And I'm like, look, me and God, we have disagreements and God is keeping his part. The challenge is me even doing my part. So I mean, I think that has helped me, and I think God has really given me a very supportive wife who has really, really played a huge role in my life. Heck, she's the one that even encouraged me to go into this in the very first place. And ever since I married her, people have been blessing me with plenty big jobs. So I think I can say at this point that I married right, and that's one of God's gifts to me as well. God has blessed me with amazing mentors, and one person in particular is Tiwa Bello. She's very instrumental to where I am today. I mean, there are times that we'll have conversations at night and she'll be saying, Yemi, your work is worth more than this. Yemi, you can't afford to slack on this. Yemi, you can't do this. Yemi, there are times we'll fight and she'll be like, bro, I'm not giving up on you. You have to get this right. And then we have the likes of Full House, we have Kelly Chamadi, we have all these people that I've submitted my work to, and they've helped me grow in one way or the other. And I have my pastor, Pastor Shegun Abaji, who's always praying for us, and ultimately, Pastor Body Thomas. In that space, I found wisdom, I found strength, I found clarity, and that's what works for me. I don't do many things that my friends do. What works for everybody is different. God say I should do photography of my life, who am I to complain? Tomorrow, you can see me running for the governor of Osun State. It's very possible. I can even say I want to become president of Nigeria because I don't like Nigeria the way it is. So I have many passions. I'm a man, by the grace of God, I'm a man of many gifts. And I believe that every point in my life is a chapter. And as we see in parts. And I believe that as we walk with God, the road keeps appearing. So I can't really say, photography is what I'm going to do for life. I tell my team, say if you hear that Yemi Kings has become a teacher in a secondary school in the backwaters, one of the villages, just believe it. I believe solely in, just follow God, because I didn't really plan to end up as a photographer. Left to me, I wanted to be a singer, dancer. I wanted to be on stage and, have the limelight on me and be the center of attention and enjoying everything. But, God had other plans. So I'm not really planning to be a photographer for the rest of my life. I didn't even plan to do photography for this long. So if tomorrow comes and God says, son, drop the camera, pick this up, who am I to complain? As long as my family is okay. Peace. I still see myself doing a lot of international projects. I see myself raising and supporting a lot of artists globally. And I see myself really more as a voice that speaks for the church, that speaks for Nigeria as a country, that speaks for Africa as a people. And I don't know, but there is something about me that I still believe that still a bit political, but I really don't like the way the Nigerian political scene is. I don't like the way our people are governed. So if tomorrow you see me venturing into politics, please do not be alarmed. It is still me. But at the end of the day, I just see myself helping people, helping them grow and helping them love themselves and helping them love God more. So whatever channel is going to help us do all of that, put smiles on people's faces and point people to God, whatever channel that God brings that we are going to use to do that one, I'll be there. But photographically speaking, I still want to tour the whole world. I want to do exhibitions in every continent in the world. I want my art to be on the frames, to be on the walls of the most important people. And I'm still going to, even if Jesus come, I want to photograph him. That would be nice, yeah? A real portrait of Jesus Christ. That would be sweet. So if you are a budding photographer, if you are planning on coming into the industry or you just came in, this is what I have to say to you. 1, follow God. Nice Abbey Road, because follow no road. But then I'll tell you that Jesus just doesn't know the road. He is the way. And so when you stick with him, you can't get lost. And he knows the part of the ocean where there is fish. So it's a very big industry, and you might find it hard to really, really find your place in that industry. But just trust God, and it's going to really, really direct your path.